Hi, everyone. It's Adele Frizzell here with,
Tiffany Buck here.
and today we are going to talk about how to manage your weight or lose
Mhm.
weight without tracking macros or
Yeah.
calories. It's a really simple method, and we're
Mhm.
going to go through that with you. So today is going to be a quick one. Has anyone joined us for this Facebook Live?
I haven't gotten this pulled up quite yet.
That's okay.
It takes a minute for the notification to pop up
Gotcha.
on here.
If you're
Um,
here, say hello and feel free to ask questions. We will be monitoring the chat and answering your questions in today's Facebook Live. So again, we're going to be talking about how to manage your weight or lose weight without tracking macros or calories. This is one of the methods we teach in the Transformer program. It comes from lesson 9 or 11, I can't recall. But anyway, because the goal is not to have you tracking your macros forever and ever and ever. The goal is to teach you some intuitive eating concepts so that when you're eating out on vacation, all that stuff, you can actually manage your weight quite nicely using, a handful of different intuitive eating methods. Now,
yep.
I will say this isn't exactly intuitive eating. I would call this more informed eating.
hmm I
Okay.
like that informed
Yeah.
eating because when you
Informed
are
eating.
informed about something, you can make a decision that supports that. I like that.
Exactly.
So we do have a couple people in the comments. We've got Cynthia, Patty's on here.
Awesome.
Uh, Jeannie is on here, and then Joan is also on. Hi, guys. Welcome to our TED Talk, if you will.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Uh,
thanks so much for coming, ladies. So definitely say hi in the comments, ask questions. All right. So real quick, we are going to,
well,
yeah.
you mentioned that you wanted to start by talking about my current
Oh,
diet.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's just
So
quickly talk about Tiffany because we met before this. And I'm like, oh, you're not
I'm
looking too
struggling.
good. You're looking
I'm
really
struggling.
tired.
Okay, so first thing I want to mention is I am not following a very low calorie diet. My calories are actually just under 1,600 calories a day. I am 5'2", and that's a decent amount of food for me. And I'm losing almost 2 pounds a week on those macros.
Yeah.
And so if you're sitting at home and you're like, how? Why? Well, I average anywhere between 10 to 16,000 steps a day. I am training hard 5 times a week. I'm lifting heavy. And all of that compounds into my progress, right? And today especially, like yesterday, I was in a better place. Today, I am hungry.
Yeah.
I am tired. My brain is lagging a little bit today. So if I kind of stare at you kind of funny, it's fine. It's fine. Um,
It's amazing how when we don't get enough fuel, how much things suck, And so, but that hunger is a sign of weight loss. So
yeah,
that's the only positive I
absolutely.
can say about it.
Yep. And I started this about 10 weeks ago and I'm down roughly 10 pounds. So about a pound a week
Yep,
is the
that's good.
average. And then I also had vacation in there, and then I've had a couple weeks where I have not been perfect on my diet. But again, some of the things that we talk about with our clients is we don't expect perfection. It's not realistic. Now, for my goal, I'm going to have to, once I get closer to it being time for me to hit the stage, I'm going to have to make sure that I am as perfect as possible because
Yeah.
for competition standards, that leeway of consistency is not quite going to cut it. So I will have to dial that in more as we get closer. But for right now, I'm just focusing on the day to day and getting lean and then seeing where I'm at and going from there. But yeah.
Don't forget, you're also building muscle though,
hmm
right? You really dialed up the training. So
hmm
you might be losing a pound a week, but you're also preserving and or building muscle. So
Absolutely.
probably more weight loss, more fat loss is actually occurring.
Yeah, and I was actually looking at my photos from about 2 years ago recently, and that was at my leanest point before I had my tummy tuck and got rid of the excess skin. And I was lean. Like you could see the
Yeah, you had a
definition
six
in
pack.
yeah, you could see the definition in my quads, and everything. And then I was kind of looking at my photos from recently, and I'm like, I'm not as lean, but you can definitely see that now I have more muscle mass than I did even 2 years ago.
Yep.
So it's going to be pretty cool to compare those and to see like what the differences is in body weight and how my muscle mass differs. So it's going to be kind of exciting.
Yeah, that is cool. Okay, so we're going to talk about a method to manage your weight without tracking macros or calories. And what we are referring to is something called the MyPlate method. So who here has heard of the MyPlate method? Comment below. The MyPlate method, I don't even know if it's taught in school, but some of you might remember the food guide pyramid. Do you remember the food pyramid? If so, comment. Yes. I might be aging myself here, but you know, this is what we were taught. And that got changed in, when did it get changed, Tiffany?
So 2011, June 2nd, 2011, okay. The USDA Center for Nutritional Policy and Promotion, they changed it from the pyramid guide to the MyPlate.
Okay, so we've had 11 years now with the MyPlate method. I'd love to know, anyone listening, have you actually used this method yourself?
So Cynthia said the pyramid they taught, but we're wondering, does anybody know if they're teaching the MyPlate method in schools right now?
Because it replaces the pyramid, actually.
Yeah.
The guidelines do get updated from time to time. So who knows what they'll come up with next.
Yeah.
And it's different in different countries. It's really interesting. Like Japanese guidelines say, try to eat around the same time each day. I'm like, isn't that interesting? So they're probably onto something that we're not, called circadian rhythms, which can actually help with insulin sensitivity, cholesterol, things like that, hunger signaling, satiety signaling. But anyway, I'm digressing. Let's get back to the MyPlate method. I'm going to show you on my screen the MyPlate. Okay, go ahead.
Real fast, Jeannie in the comments says she may have half a plate of veggies, a quarter plate of protein, quarter plate carbs. So we'll talk more about that soon, but you're close to what we're going to talk
Jeannie, about. You have to be so perfect. A student, A+. Yes, we're going to show you on the screen right now. Okay. All right, enough of me talky talk. Let's go here. I'm going to show you the MyPlate method, okay, USDA guidelines, and then I'm going to show you a method that we think is better, possibly in some scenarios, for people who are trying to lose weight. And it's one we created based on the MyPlate. All right, so let me just share my screen so you can see it. Can everybody see my screen right now?
I can see it. So I'm assuming if I can see it, they can see it.
Okay, great. So
and I see it on Facebook Live too. So yes, we're good.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll just go through this, starting from the left with fruits. The goal here is to make half your plate fruits and veggies, right? Fruits are packed and veggies are packed with fiber and antioxidants. With fruits, you really want a variety. Same with veggies. You want different colors. We say eat the rainbow. Different colors have different micronutrients in them. So you want a variety. Now, does anyone know how many cups of fruit you're supposed to be having a day?
We'll give them a second. Let's see if
we'll give you a second. All right.
So in the meantime, one of the things that I really want to point out on this MyPlate is the fruits and the vegetables on this suggestion. It says this is mainly from non-starchy veggies. And there's a reason why for that, because they have a different area on this chart where the starchy veggies would fit in a little bit better.
Yeah. Yeah. So it would be like your greens, like your zucchini, your lettuce, your spinach, squash, things like that. Okay. So basically I'm going to tell you the answer. Fruits, you're supposed to have 1 to 2 cups of fruits a day. Okay. And vegetables, at least 3 to 4 cups of vegetables a day. How many people here are actually consuming that consistently on a regular basis? Yeah. Good for you, Tiffany. Not many. Actually, about 10% of Americans, only 10% of Americans consume that on a daily basis. So what we have is a nation of people who are deficient in vitamins, minerals, and fiber. And because they're also low in fiber, they're hungry. And they're filling up on less healthy sources to feed that hunger. So one way you can offset this hunger is by having more fruits and vegetables in your diet. It will help your health as well. Okay, so the other quarter plate is grains, and they say mostly whole grains because these have fiber. Refined grains like white bread and white rice have less nutrition. But you can have some white breads that are fortified. And what that means is they put back B vitamins and other vitamins, iron, stuff like that into the loaf of bread that you're eating. So they kind of process everything out and then they stuff it back in with nutrients. So you can have white bread that is fortified. Okay. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it is better if you have things like, spelt, whole grain, more whole grain bread. I love Dave's Killer bread, that kind of thing. It's just healthier. You're going to have more fiber, more nutrients. Okay. Whole grains. I know not everybody likes brown rice. I get it. I'm not a big fan of brown rice either. But, there is one brand of brown rice I really like. It's Calzone. It's a Californian brown rice. It's like a round pearly rice and it's delicious. So I would recommend that if you're not a fan of brown rice. But, in grains, a quarter of your plate, that can be a lot for some people. And we're going to talk about that. Another idea that we have for you if you're trying to eat maybe less than 1,500 calories a day. Yep. Okay, so protein is the other quarter plate, and they say a palm size amount at lunch and dinner is all you need. Well, if you got a palm size amount of lunch at lunch and dinner, you'd probably only be getting about 50 grams of protein a day, which is the minimum for preserving muscle and health and preventing death and disease. It's not optimal. I mean, there's minimums. Who wants to be a C student? I don't want to just kind of squeak by, right? I want more. I want to be optimal with my health. So actually, more protein is better. A palm size is only twice a day is only going to get you about 50 grams of protein. When we work with our clients, we recommend at least 100 grams of protein, but it's based on body weight. So what are some sources of protein? Maybe Tiffany, you can chat about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So lean meats are things that you want to stick with generally, simply because, we can get our fat very easily from other sources. But things like chicken, pork, then you also have plant-based sources of protein as well. You've got some beans,
fish,
fish, yeah, seafood, if you like that kind of stuff.
Lean beef, you can get 95% fat-free. Turkey.
Yeah, I do 93% lean beef, and then a lot of times I'll mix my beef in with 97% lean turkey just to up the protein and keep the fat intake a little bit lower. And the benefit of doing that is now I don't have to choose between avocado or a cheeseburger. I can have both. So, and it lets me get in different sources of fat in my diet without going over my calories. Because as you guys know, fat is, it's an amazing thing. Your body needs it, but it's very calorically dense.
Yeah. And we don't need much for hormonal function. So, the My Plate Guide says that nuts are a source of protein. This was shocking because this is coming from registered dietitians. Yes, nuts are a source of protein, but they're mainly a source of fats. Okay, and so I wish people would stop thinking of nuts as a source of protein. I suppose vegans and vegetarians who don't eat fish or dairy or eggs have to, because gosh, you need to get your protein from somewhere. But I remember making a veggie nut burger one day. It was 800 calories. Not much fats. It was mostly due to all the fats in the nuts. So we get lots of people who struggle with their weight and they eat clean, and it's usually because they're overeating nuts. So I wouldn't really consider nuts a lean source of protein. I would consider nuts as a treat almost if you're trying to manage your weight. And you try these other lean sources of protein. Nuts are healthy though, but you just need a little bit. So one serving size is really a very small handful. It's not a quarter of a plate. Oh my goodness. A quarter of your plate, that could be like 800 calories.
Easily.
Or 1,200 calories.
And then you guys would contact us and go, hey, we followed this. We got our protein from nuts, but we're gaining weight. Why?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where we kind of I guess, disagree with this My Plate thing. Dairy, that's also a bit of an odd one because quite a few people don't tolerate dairy very well. they recommend like a glass of milk, or you could have some yogurt or cottage cheese or something like that. That could be a lot of food, right? But I guess this plate doesn't have to be really large. But when you think about the protein, and that's the size of your hand, and it's a fairly substantial plate. Dairy, you could have as a snack on the side with a piece of fruit later in the day, and maybe have more veggies and stuff. Dairy, I would recommend lactose free if you're lactose intolerant. As long as you don't have an allergy, you should be fine having a bit of dairy in your diet. And you could skip it during the meal, I personally think, but these are the recommendations. Okay. Dairy is important. It's very filling. It's a good source of protein, but one glass of dairy will be 100, a skim milk will be 80 calories. 2% might be 130 calories. Whole milk, I don't know what whole milk is. 180 calories for a glass adds up super quick. You have 3 of those. That's 600 calories. For a person who's only eating 1,500 calories a day, that's like a big chunk of your calories in dairy. So definitely look for skim milk, that kind of thing, leaner sources of dairy.
Yeah, and something to think about too is this is just a guide. It's not set in stone. You have to take this and you have to pull the different aspects in to make it fit for you and for your lifestyle. If you're following this and you're like, well, my scale weight's going up. Well, okay, so let's reevaluate the choices that we're making and kind of go from there.
We know that protein's going to be not, as long as it's lean, it's not going to be a lot of calories, and you need your protein. This is a non-negotiable. Yep. Vegetables, non-starchy, won't have many calories. Fruit won't have many calories. Grains and dairy are where I see you can think a little more critically and find opportunities to lower your calories. So let's talk about that next. This is what we want to present to you based on what we think is good for people who are dieting or have very few calories. Okay, so we call this my diet plate. And so again, half your plate in vegetables. The more color, the better. Okay. Vegetables, mostly non-starchy vegetables as well. But if you get more calories, you can have things like carrots and peas and turnips and things like that on that side. Protein stays the same, but I recommend palm size or slightly larger. And you should be considering protein at every meal: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. Starch, that would be your grains, your legumes, your beans, starchy vegetables like potatoes and stuff like that, rice, bread. Fruit, the more color, the better. We've only made it a quarter plate. And I think that you could have the entire quarter plate be fruit and not have any starches at one meal. And then maybe another meal have a quarter plate starches, like a sandwich, right? If you have 2 slices of bread, a sandwich is going to, with a lot of vegetables and some maybe turkey meat and stuff in it, that can be your plate too. It's basically all those parts together in a sandwich with maybe a small salad on the side. Again, use fats and oils very sparingly, because when you consume dairy and you consume protein and you consume nuts, you're getting fats from those sources already. And then instead of maybe dairy, have water or skim milk, because that's going to be 80 calories versus 160 or more. At every meal.
Water is going to be no calories. Plus, water is great for you.
So if you're trying to get 3 to 4 servings of vegetables a day, or 3 to 4 cups of vegetables a day and 1 to 2 cups of fruit, you got to plan out how you're going to eat, because this doesn't happen by accident until it becomes a habit to eat lots of fruits and vegetables. You got to do some planning. And so this my plate method, or my diet plate method, is a way to work in those cups of vegetables and those cups of fruit. And believe me, when you eat like this, you can feel quite full on very few calories. Like, is this kind of how you're eating right now, Tiffany? Now that you're going for contest prep?
Yeah, absolutely. I shared a photo recently of my cheeseburger that I had. And as you guys saw, it was like my plate was full, and I had a huge serving of green beans. I had some watermelon going with it, and my bread was my starches. I knew that I couldn't have any starches on top of that. So I think that my hunger would be overwhelming if I did not eat like this. Like I'm planning on having like a buffalo tuna wrap for lunch, and I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, I've got some green beans in the fridge that I can have with it. I still have some watermelon in there. So,
a can of green beans is like 50 calories or something. I mean, you can get full quite quickly on vegetables and fruit. And if you hate vegetables, you got to find a way to prepare them that is enjoyable. We work with clients who said, I don't eat vegetables, I hate vegetables. That's a lot of food that you're saying you hate, because there's surely a vegetable out there that you would enjoy if you prepared it properly. Chances are you never had it prepared properly, and so you don't enjoy it, or you just keep eating the same old, you know?
If
Same
you've
with
never
fruit.
had, yeah, if you've never had steamed carrots with a little bit of honey drizzled on them, you're missing out. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. I love roasting my veggies. In the
Mhm.
summer, I eat more fresh salads. But let's check the comments and see if there's any questions from anyone about this approach. Does it
No,
make sense to
I
people?
haven't seen any more questions. Let us know if this makes sense, guys. I'm monitoring the comments, so
Yeah.
yeah.
We want you to be flexible about this. This is a way to be mindful. And if you eat like this, you're getting a lot of volume. You're going to fill yourself up without a lot of calories. And most importantly, you're eating for health. You're getting a lot of micronutrients from the fruits and veggies and the starches and the proteins. You're hitting all your macros. It's a really sensible approach to weight management and health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And again, like this portion can work better than the other portions for like people who are lower in calories, especially because when you have half of your plates in veggies, it's a lot of volume. It's a lot of food.
Mm-hmm. And the starches, as I said, you can make it a quarter plate or fruits a quarter plate. Just make sure you get your fruit and vegetable servings in for the day. And, I want you to think a little creatively too, like sandwiches. We always think 2 pieces of bread. It can be one piece of bread. It can be an open-faced tuna melt with a big salad on the side, So, all right, well, that's what we wanted to show you today. And I want to challenge you this week to make one of your meals a day using this method. Okay. And if you did, take a picture, post it in this thread, in this Facebook Live. We want to see your plate. How closely does it match this plate here? Okay. That's my challenge to you this week. I hope you take up the challenge. I'm looking forward to seeing some photos.
And something else too is if you have like a veggie recipe that you love, share it. Feel free to share that with us. We always love new ideas and sharing new information.
Yeah. I mean, my plate could be used in a casserole dish with a side salad too, right? Yeah. Okay, well, I think that's it. I have a webinar today in an hour and a half for people who are interested in the New You program. And there's still a chance, if you comment below and you want in on that webinar, in the next 20 minutes to get in on that webinar. So just comment below and I'll send you the link. And we will be chatting in 90 minutes about that. Okay? Anything else you want to add, Tiffany?
No, I think that's it. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk again. Share those pictures and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All righty. Take care, everybody.
Bye.